Well, more than a decade in the making, the world's most powerful rocket, the Space Launch System, has for the first time ever rolled out to its launch pad an 11-hour slow-moving journey overnight, where the Boeing-made rocket and the Lockheed Martin-made Orion capsule on top of it will now undergo several weeks of tests before a maiden launch as soon as May. It stands 322 feet tall. It's taller than the Statue of Liberty. SLS is a system that will, under the Artemis program, fly Americans back to the moon. So joining me now, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, live from the Kennedy Space Center. Administrator Nelson, thanks for being with us this morning. And I know you're right near this rocket, or it's in your background, I should say. Major milestone. We're entering a new era, one in which Americans are now poised to return to the moon, this time to stay, to enable more deep space exploration. But in some ways, is this also the final chapter of another era, one in which NASA actually owns its own rocket?
Well, first of all, Morgan, I've got to apologize for the Florida weather. It is now in a fog, and you can't see the rocket that's over my shoulder back there on the launch pad. No, we are getting NASA out of low Earth orbit. We're going to explore the heavens. And this rocket, a government rocket, is going back to the moon. We're going to hitch up with the commercial marketplace. In this case, the first lander, SpaceX. It will, in lunar orbit, the crew will transfer from the Orion capsule into the lander, go down to the surface. And this is just the beginning of about one crew a year that will go to the moon, and we will build infrastructure on the moon. We'll build a habitat. We'll learn how to exist in a very hostile environment for a long period of time in preparation to go to Mars.
Yeah, and we have several missions scheduled. This first one as soon as May, which is uncrewed, but several missions over the next couple of years. And hopefully, if all goes according to plan, the first human boots, or American boots, back on the lunar surface as soon as 2025. Is it really going to cost $4 billion per launch, as the Inspector General of NASA has suggested?
When you get to flying one a year, the answer is no. The cost will come down. You've put into that a lot of other costs to get started. And of course, when you build something this big, this technologically superior, this defying the laws of gravity, going to a hostile environment, there's a lot of research and development that goes into that.
But Shep, none of this has been cheap. The price to develop the SLS now stands at $11 billion, and NASA's Inspector General estimates the first Artemis missions will each cost more than $4 billion per launch.
The only reason that they're telling you this is because they're trying to get you to rabble about it so that they can defund it, because that's what they did to Clinton, that's what they did to Bush, that's what they did to Obama. Even Trump got all fired up and everyone got all pissed off about the Space Force. And now, you know, Russia's at war and they're kicking us out of the ISS. Now everyone's like, oh, maybe that was a good idea. None of it's a fucking good idea. Just acknowledge that all people stop at low Earth orbit has nothing to do with money. It's fucking ionizing radiation. The moment you guys start acknowledging the actual fucking problem and why everyone's warring over low Earth orbit, you won't have to deal with this fucking theater. Just calling it now, though. Enjoy.